All right, let's talk about something we all use every single day, something that's become the single biggest gateway for cyber attacks, your web browser. I mean, it's where we live our digital lives, right? But it's also the main battlefield for our personal security. And the threats out there are getting smarter, way faster than you think. So the real question is your browser's defense actually keeping up? Let's dive in and find out. So first, let's just get a sense of how big this problem really is. Get this, a staggering 80% of all reported security incidents are caused by phishing attacks. That's not a typo. This isn't some niche problem for a few unlucky people. It is, by far, the most common way that people and entire companies get hacked today. So that number has to make you stop and think, and I really want you to consider this. Are the defenses your browser has right now really up to the task? Are you actually protected against the threats that exist today? Or are you maybe relying on security that was designed for a much simpler time? To answer that, we've got to understand what we're up against. Because phishing isn't just a bigger threat now, it's a smarter threat. And because of that, our defenses have had to evolve too. A whole new approach is emerging, and it's built around a concept called the phishing protection browser. So, what's the big deal? What makes this different? Well, we're not just talking about those basic "this site is unsafe" warnings you've probably seen. A true phishing protection browser goes way beyond simple block lists, which, let's be honest, are always playing catch-up. It uses proactive techniques, things like real-time analysis and something called browser isolation, to shut down threats before they even have a chance to do any damage. And the reason we even need this new approach is because the attacks themselves have gotten a major upgrade. You know, those old phishing emails that were full of typos and just looked kind of fake? Yeah, those have been replaced by incredibly sophisticated, convincing scams. On the surface, the attack chain still looks pretty straightforward. You get a link, it takes you to a fake website that looks totally real, you punch in your info, and boom, that data is stolen and used against you. This basic 5-step process has been the blueprint for years. The scary part, though, is how unbelievably good attackers have gotten at steps 2 and 3. And this table right here, this shows you just how big the challenge is. Look at the detection difficulty on the right. Browser in the browser attacks create fake login pop-ups that are identical to the real thing. AI can now spin up pixel-perfect clones of your bank's website in seconds. And these men-in-the-middle proxies, they can steal your credentials in real time, even if you have two-factor authentication. These things are designed to fool not just you, but your browser's basic defenses too. So how in the world do we fight back against this stuff? Well, the answer isn't just one magic bullet. It's about a layered defense. I want you to think of it like you're building a digital fortress. Each layer provides a totally different type of protection, and we're going to start with the basics and build our way up to the really advanced stuff. Okay, layer 1 is what pretty much all of us have right now. It's your browser's built-in bouncer. It checks every website you visit against a huge list of known bad guys, like Google Safe Browsing. If you click a link that's on the list, you get that giant red warning page. It's a great first step, but it has one massive fundamental flaw. And here it is. The average phishing site is only online for about 15 hours. That is more than enough time for attackers to steal thousands of passwords before that site ever gets flagged and added to a block list. So if you're only relying on block lists, you are always playing defense. You're always one step behind. Which brings us to layer 2, and this is where things get smarter. Instead of just checking a list of known bad sites, it analyzes brand new websites right as they appear. It starts asking intelligent questions like, hey, was this domain registered just a few hours ago? Or, wait a minute, this page looks exactly like a PayPal login, but the URL is all wrong. See, it's proactive, not just reactive. Now, layer 3 is the real game changer. It's called browser isolation. The whole idea is simple, but it is so powerful. When you use isolation, a suspicious website doesn't actually run on your computer at all. It runs in a secure remote container. Think of it like a high-tech digital sandbox that is completely separate from your files, your network, everything. So even if that site is dripping with malware, it literally can't touch you. Layer 4 gets even more detailed. It's called Content Disarm and Reconstruction, or CDR. The best way to think about this is like a super strict security checkpoint for all the code that makes up a web page. Before the page even loads, CDR finds any sketchy bits, like scripts that could log your keystrokes, and just strips them out, delivering only the safe parts of the page for you to see. And finally, layer 5. This is your last line of defense, and it's all about protecting your actual login info. This layer includes tools you might already be using, like a good password manager that's smart enough to not autofill your bank password on a fake website. Or even better, hardware security keys, which are essentially phishing-proof because they're tied directly to the real website. Okay, so those are the 5 layers of our digital fortress. That's the theory. But how do you actually build it? Let's get practical. I'm going to show you 3 ways you can start putting these protections in place today, from super simple tweaks to a full-on security overhaul. Option 1 is the easiest, and it's something everyone should seriously do right after this. Just harden the browser you're already using. Go into your settings and look for stuff like Chrome's enhanced safe browsing or Firefox's HTTPS-only mode, and just turn them on. These built-in tools can give you a much better baseline of security in just a few clicks. Now, option 2 is for anyone who wants to take it a step further. This is kind of like having a separate, sealed-off room just for opening suspicious packages. You install a second browser, you lock it down with the absolute maximum security settings, and you use it for one thing only: clicking on links you don't 100% trust. You never log into your email or your bank on this browser. It's your quarantine zone. And then we have option 3. This is the gold standard. This is how you implement that powerful Layer 3 defense we talked about. With a cloud browser isolation service, any sketchy link you click automatically opens on a remote server, not your own computer. The dangerous code never even gets close to your machine. And when you're done and close the tab, the entire remote session, along with any threat, is just vaporized. Let's really focus on this idea of isolation for a second, because it really is a fundamental shift in how we think about security. The goal isn't just to detect a threat when it shows up at your door. The goal is to build a system where the threat is physically incapable of ever reaching your door in the first place. This chart just sums it all up perfectly. With a traditional browser, that phishing page is running right there on your device. Your data is at risk. Your whole computer could get infected. But with an isolated browser, that same malicious page runs on a remote server somewhere else. Your data is safe. And if there's malware, it just infects a disposable container that gets deleted a second later. The threat is completely neutralized. So, I'll just leave you with this one thought. We put strong locks on our homes, on our cars. Your web browser is the front door to your entire digital life. The only question left is, have you installed a strong enough lock?